Hello and welcome to today's FTSE and DAX analysis. It's the 28th of the 6th. We're coming up to end of financial year, end of quarter trading. As for yesterday, let's do a little recap. I mentioned there could be potential to sell off the level here, the breakout long. We came up, tapped it, and went all the way down to the close gap. Now, the target I was going for, I didn't take it all the way, I only took it about halfway because we hit the moving average and came back to my entry. I didn't get in at the best entry price, unfortunately, but that's okay. Came down to the close, and I was potentially thinking it could go down to the breakout short and push right down. It is quite a long way away. It almost made it, but I was happy enough with that little move there. Made it a good day of trading for me. So, as for the DAX, very similar layout. We've got the triple bands, as you can see in this area. We've got the close gap. It's a little bit closer. And then we've got the triple bands down the bottom. Just let me check something first. We've had a big push up on the Aussie, which means we could potentially see a bit more rise out of today's market. So we're going to lull people, the inexperienced traders, into thinking it's going to be exactly the same as yesterday, which it could well be. The ideal trade based on the levels would be to go straight for the close gap. But on an intermarket basis, we could see a strong push up before we do end up coming back down towards the high and the close. So just be aware of that strong move in the ASX this morning. It could really influence markets up into a positive direction before we do come down. So just watch the price action, be really careful about that. But the ideal scenario is that it just falls straight from where it is now. Let's say it opens there, down to the close gap, and perhaps beyond down to the breakout short as a longer target. We'll have a quicker look at the longer time frames. On the weekly, we've kind of tapped a moving average and we're having a strong week so far. Nothing too much on the daily. We are turning around from the lows at this point. From a 4-hour standpoint, a touch of the R2 would be a spike outside the Bollinger Band, meaning we could see some really strong rejections off the R2 level. And as for the 1 hour, we don't actually have the same Bollinger Band situation for the R2. So that's interesting. It doesn't really mean anything useful. So it's really the 4-hour spike outside the Bollinger Band that would be useful to us. So that's it from the DAX. Basically a strong push up to the R2 could be a really good reason to get short. Always remembering the market can always just continue in the direction it's going. It doesn't always have to turn back around. We'll jump over to the UK. Very similar setup. I didn't want to hold it because we were already hanging around these levels and there wasn't such a distance to the R2 and the triple bands weren't as tight comparatively to the DAX. So I didn't really want to hold it. I could have, and it would have paid off. It went down to the close gap. What are we looking at points wise? 30 points and beyond. So it would have been a really good trade had I have held that one. I didn't have the confidence, unfortunately. As for the DAX, that was a 60-point move and beyond. If you got up a little bit higher and you had that confidence, could have been a 75-point move or more. Same deal for the FTSE today as the DAX. Basically, we're looking for a push up into these levels. They are a bit tighter today, so hopefully they'll have a bit more strength in holding that price within the triple bands here and the triple bands down lower to get that push perhaps either to the close or even to the previous day's low. So we want to see maybe a little bit of buying, fake us up towards that breakout long, and then come short, targeting the close of the previous day's low. Obviously using price action and that sort of thing to take us in. Have a quick look at the weekly. Obviously Monday was a very strong day. Tuesday was pretty good as well. I've had 3 positive days touching that lower Bollinger Band on the daily. And as you can see back here, we had 1, 2 really good pushes last time we hit it, excluding this point here. So 1, 2, 3. Today could be a really positive day. We've got that 1, 2, 3 off the Bollinger. As for the 4 hour, we'd really have to come up and hit the R2 to make anything of the Bollinger Band. The 1 hour, same deal. So basically we're just watching out for really strong pushes upwards. That could be the thing that throws these levels out of whack, because we have had that strength in the ASX this morning. So just be aware of that. So both markets very similar. I'll probably be having a look at both when they open to see what happens, because they're very similar in nature, very similar layout, and I'm expecting quite similar movements from both markets. So we'll just have to wait and see. That's it from me today, guys. Good luck with your trading, and talk to you soon.